Do you regularly prepare or deliver a presentation to the board, the exco, or any other team in your company? Do you receive or attend presentations made by finance teams? And if so, are you satisfied by the level of these presentations? Do you think other stakeholders are satisfied by your presentations? The reason I ask you these questions is because I asked these to a panel of more than 500 finance professionals around the world. And although I don't have your answers, I imagine that they're pretty close to the results of that survey. Because 83% of the respondents regularly prepare and or deliver the presentation of the monthly results of their companies or smaller parts of it. That's not bad. That's even a good news. It means finance has a voice and is accountable for their work. But when I ask their leaders what they think of these presentations, the picture is less joyful. Because 84% of the survey panel consider the level of these presentations prepared by finance insufficient. And to understand why, I've interviewed more than 50 senior finance leaders, CFOs, and directors about their vision of finance presentations, and it's not going great. 84% of them are disappointed, and this because of 5 main reasons. The first is that there's no clear message. When people go out of a meeting with a finance presentation, they rarely remember the main idea they should care about, and they don't know what to do about it. Secondly, our presentations are not tailored to the audience, meaning we prepare and deliver a presentation for a marketing department the same way we would for a board or an exco. The third issue is that our field does not use narratives, a story. We are used to reporting templates, and the issue is that we follow the same structure to present our results. In fourth position, I'm pretty sure you'll be nodding yes, our slides are too busy. Too many graphs and tables, too much text, and simply too many slides. And finally, the last issue concerns the delivery of the presentation itself. It's rarely seen as engaging, and we suffer the reputation of the weather forecast presenters watching our slides and showing graph on them. I won't go into too many details about each of these issues, but what's interesting now is to wonder, if we know what the issues are, can we do something about it? And now that everything seems possible with AI, we should ask ourselves, can we make our life easier with AI? That will be the main topic of this masterclass, AI-enhanced storytelling, or how can we prepare and deliver better finance presentations with AI tools. Hi, I'm Soufiane, and after 17 years of experience in finance in companies like PwC, Deloitte, and Proximus, I created my own company, the Finance Circle, to help and train finance professionals on behavioral topics like finance business partnering and financial storytelling. I've done that since 2022, and I helped companies like Proximus, Deloitte, Piratos, Agoria, Upwork, or Holcim. Recently, I could not resist testing AI tools to help us on our behavioral skills. But before diving into what I want to show you, it's interesting to understand why storytelling is important for finance too. Believe me, when I heard about storytelling the first time, I thought the same as you. Again, another buzzword made by marketeers or salespeople to oversell something that's not worth it. But when I realized that my presentations didn't have the expected impact on my business partners, and even my own CFO told me that I needed to bring stories, well, I couldn't help but searching for more. And quickly, I noticed that everything I missed in a presentation was solved with storytelling, because storytelling helps you to be understood and trusted. And so the question you could ask yourself is, do your non-finance stakeholders understand you? If not, maybe storytelling can help you. It also helps you make it important to them. And again, the question to ask yourself is, do they care about your findings and the results? If not, maybe storytelling can help you. And finally, and that's the main goal of communication, is to trigger an action from your insight. And you could ask yourself, are decisions made easy with my presentation or not? If not, then maybe storytelling can help you. And to understand this discrepancy between the expectation and the actual state of finance presentations, I asked, why are presentations challenging for us? And the results were these. In first position, we have the lack of structure, meaning that people feel blocked by the existing template and do not know how to have a structure and a narrative that sticks. In second position, the lack of skills. And when we dig, it's more about the delivery of a presentation. They don't feel at ease with public speaking and talking to an audience while being engaging. And finally, we have the lack of time. To be honest, I expected that to be the first, but weirdly enough, people don't look into that excuse to explain the lack of storytelling skills in finance. So now that we know why we have difficulties, we could wonder how all these AI tools can help us improve and face the challenges of the lack of skills, the lack of time, and the lack of a clear structure. With Gen AI, we can convert these weaknesses into excuses of the past when it comes to improving the presentations we give. And there are tons of things we can do with Gen AI, and some of them are pretty useful to prepare a presentation. For the lack of time, I discussed with many CFOs and directors, and the main challenge for them is to be able to grasp the essential when they receive decks of more than 100 slides. So we'll work on how to use ChatGPT and Copilot to get the executive summary of an existing presentation. For the lack of skills, we'll see how we can either train or avoid public speaking by seeing how we can practice our presentation before delivering it. We'll also see how you can have an avatar present the results in your place. And for the lack of structure, we'll get the outline of our quarterly results using storytelling structures from ChatGPT. So let's make sure that the lack of time, structure, and skills becomes only a bad souvenir thanks to AI tools. So let's start with the number one problem, the lack of structures. And the problem has a name, our templates. We generally have a templated presentation that also serves as a report that is meant to be read. And with such a structure, it is hard to get the attention and the engagement of your audience. Now, it's easier said than done, and yet we can use ChatGPT to generate an outline for your presentation. Of course, depending on your prompt, the result will be more or less banal. If you use a sophisticated prompt, you will get a sophisticated result. If you use a simple prompt, you'll get a simple result. So let's try to use a prompt by looking for information from Proximus and their last quarterly results, because it's a publicly available information and I didn't really want to share confidential information. So let's try to use it and see how it's done in ChatGPT. So here you will see that we created a prompt in which I talk about the context, who I am, what it is meant for, what structure I want to use. Here, storytelling principle of Sufyan Hamid. I can detail those by saying that I want to use the 3 what. And so by giving more information, I will have more results. So here it starts to generate the structure that I wanted. But you see that here I have the what, the so what, and the now what, which is the basis of my storytelling structure. So when we work on this, we can observe the results, see if we are satisfied, and consider that the outline is ready or not. So if I consider that those are enough, I can just copy it and go to PowerPoint and use Copilot to create my slide deck. So let's try to use Copilot and create a presentation about. You give a bit more context about what you expect. Here I will say that it's a telco company and that I will have an outline that I will copy paste. So here I have it and it starts to generate my slide deck. First, it will give you an outline with the structure, and you can also observe the structure. If you are satisfied, go for it. But sometimes I could just decide to change the place of a part of it. And when it's ready, I can start to generate. It can go quite fast. Sometimes it takes time, but here you see that I have a perfectly usable slide deck that I can observe. Of course, there are still some improvements to get, like adding graphs, checking the information that you have there, and also changing some of the visuals that can be sometimes quite limited. So it can go very fast. You see how in minutes we can get a perfectly usable slide deck that we will have to adapt rather than thinking about the structure and having to create it in PowerPoint. Now, the second issue was related to the lack of time. And when you dig a bit deeper, the main use case AI can help finance leaders like you is when you receive the slide deck from your teams. I guess it happens to all of us. You arrive 1 or 2 days before the big meeting. Your team prepared the deck, but you know how it is. A compilation of 10 slides from here, a compilation of 5 slides from there, another set of 20 slides from another team. And there you go with a slide deck of 100 slides, and you don't know the main message. Let's see how we can use ChatGPT for that. So let's go to ChatGPT and upload our presentation together with a sophisticated prompt when we ask for an executive summary, always giving more context about what we want to be included and saying that we want to add some documents. I will upload the documents that I found on Proximus's website in the investor relation part, and I will start my work in it by submitting my prompt. And after some time, you will see that it starts to generate an executive summary with key highlights, revenue, operational achievements. So I can review those. And if I'm satisfied, I can go for it. But let's say that I'm not totally satisfied by this and want to add, for example, risks and opportunities. And also I want a paragraph on the next steps. If the information is available, well, you'll get what you had in the presentation. Thanks to this executive summary, in some seconds, you will be able to grasp the main message of your presentation and make sure that you can go to the meeting by knowing how to summarize it in some paragraphs. And that's a good way for you to have the executive summary prepared by ChatGPT. Now, let's say you don't have a business access to ChatGPT and you receive the same slides in PowerPoint. Well, you can also get the summary from Copilot by asking for it and asking for additional questions. So when you have your deck, you can just go to PowerPoint and there's a little button on the Copilot where you can ask to summarize your presentation. And so there you will have a first answer with a quick summary. It will look to improve it, but then if it's enough, you can just have some paragraphs. But let's say it's not enough and we want to ask a specific question on the revenue evolution year on year. If the information is available in the document, it will find it for you and summarize it there. See, now you have the reasons behind my revenue increase year on year with fiber expansion, mobile and internet growth. So there, I will ask for an additional question to know if there are any risks that must be included in my summary. And so there again, if there is any information there, you will get it summarized. And here, competitive market, economic slowdown, changes on TV, asset divestiture. So there you have a quick response to your questions. If, for example, you receive the slides quite late, your team doesn't work anymore, and you have a hard time contacting them, well, you don't have to go through the 100 slides. You can directly have answers to your questions. Now that you know how to save time, it's time you know about one of the biggest fears of people: public speaking. People don't feel at ease with it. And especially in finance, we are not known to be the most engaging presenters in the world. But to deliver a stellar presentation, there's no secret. You must practice, practice, and again practice. And how are you going to practice as a CFO or as a finance director? It's not always easy to find the resources, the people to give you feedback, or the time in your or their agenda. Let's see how we can use AI tools in a software that we all have: PowerPoint. No need to go for additional licenses. You can go to PowerPoint and start your rehearsal. If you go to slideshow, you will find here the rehearse with coach option. The slideshow will open and you will have the opportunity to start your rehearsal. So let's do that. So we can start talking, and whenever I have this presentation, I will on purpose use expressions that they will detect. So here I will, for example, read the slides. Q3 2024 Proximus results presentation to the board of directors, showcasing Q3 2024 results to the board of directors. Here it didn't detect already what I had to say, but in terms of expression, it detected that, for example, I went fast enough. Here it also detected a filler word here. If I say, you know, actually, basically, those are filler words that they will detect. Here we will try to make sure that in our presentation, they will also consider that I read the slides. Here, achievements, domestic growth in Q3 2024, Proximus achieved domestic growth, which contributed to its strong financial performance. Here, you see it detected, try to avoid reading the slides, summarize your key points. That's also very important when you rehearse, is to make sure you know your content, but do not repeat exactly what's on the slides. Here I will also try something else, is to decrease the pace and rhythm of my presentation. So speaking monotonely, strategic partnerships, Proximus achieves strategic partnerships, and it's important for the company because it contributes to its strong financial performance. Yes, it's very low and very monotone commitment to value delivery. See, try speaking a little faster. So here I have the opportunity to speak a bit faster, and I can also speak super fast so that they detect that I speak super fast. Proximus remains committed to delivering value for its customer and shareholders, commitment to value delivery. And when I go to context settings, try to speak a bit slower. So my pitch variation was good here. Let's stop here and see now what's the most important. It's our report. So the most important here is indeed when you have your report, because you'll have comments on the number of slides you rehearsed, The filler words, if you use many filler words like, if you have repetitive language, if you use expressions a lot, well, the version will start to find it. Inclusiveness is also tested. And the most interesting is also the pace. If you go fast enough or not too low, too slow, well, you will see if in average it's good or not. Your pitch is the way you have your intonation. So, of course, there's a target because you have to variate your pitch. But if it's too low at a certain point, I spoke quite slowly, it detected it. And the originality is also, if you read your slides, well, it will also tell you something about that. So all of these elements are good enough to help you rehearse in a good way so that after 2 or 3 rehearsals, you will feel more confident in your presentation and will start with an engaging way of speaking so that at least the way to speak will not be an obstacle anymore. And the last use case that we will see is how to use a modern way of presenting our results. Because today, more and more companies publish their quarterly results and even more explain the results to all employees of the company. And sometimes the CFO does that with a video. And I know how difficult it is to record a video of yourself to give a presentation. It has nothing to do with speaking in front of someone. So, what if AI could help us do that? So, let's go and ask ChatGPT to provide us with a script from the previous work we made about Proximus' latest quarterly results. As usual, let's give a bit more context about our request and about who we are, what it is, the structure that we expect. And so there, after some moments, it will generate not only the structure, but also the script. So whenever you read the script, just make sure that you have everything in it. You can try an error by changing the titles, for example. And when you are satisfied, you just need to copy it and go to HeyGen. That's a tool to create an avatar video of yourself after you gave a recording of 2 minutes. And it will catch your image, your background, your voice, your gesture. So let's choose our avatar and just change the voice if you need it. For example, if you need or have a different voice in different languages, well, that's quite useful. When you are satisfied by your voice, you just need to copy paste the script that you got from ChatGPT, revise it, change the pronunciation of some words, and when it's done, submit it for delivery. Just change the title, change the quality of the video if you want, and after some changes, just submit it and you'll get it. It can take quite some time. So after 30 minutes, you'll get the results. Let's see our result.
Hello, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. I'm excited to share the highlights of Proximus Q3 2024 results. It's important for all of us to understand how the company is performing and where we're heading. So let's get started. First, I want to emphasize that Q3 2024 was strong for Proximus. Our total revenue reached $164 billion, which is a 7.3% increase compared to last year. We also saw our EBITDA grow to $480 million, up by 4.
Pretty amazing, right? Of course, there are still some improvements to come. None of the use cases that we have seen are really perfect. But if you saw the level of these 1 year ago, you can easily expect that it will be improved pretty soon. But remember one thing, all of these use cases are good because you inserted your value in it. By creating a complete prompt, by knowing the secrets about storytelling, or by practicing to deliver the best presentation possible. We use tools to help us become better professionals and by that, better humans. Because let's remember that storytelling is one of the most human skills there are. And we shouldn't be afraid or even ashamed to use AI tools to bring more human into finance. We need that. Our business partners need that. So let's become the first finance teams to bring that human aspect of finance in our company. That was our masterclass, AI Enhanced Storytelling, or how to prepare your presentations with AI. Thank you for watching. I hope that you appreciated it. If you want to know more about how I can train your teams to deliver convincing and efficient presentations and become better business partners, go to thefinancecircle.com and contact me on Sufyan@thefinancecircle.com.